Okay, we're taking a quiz today. We are taking a quiz today so that we can be allowed to play with all the other kids on the playground. Because if you have been watching this channel for the last few years, you know we got kicked off the playground a long time ago. Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? Because we're going to be doing this live and got a little bit of a new setup, got a nice camera back here. So I'm hoping you're going to be able to hear all of this fascinating information here. We got medical misinformation is what I was flagged for in 2020 and then many more times along the way. And YouTube has given me the opportunity to take a quiz, take a class, kind of like when you get pulled over for speeding multiple times and they threaten to take your license. You can go take a class about speeding and then have the points taken off your license. Funny story, when I was always in a rush in TV news, back when I was a TV news reporter, I often got speeding tickets because I was trying to make my deadline. And then after multiple speeding tickets, to the point where I was very close to Washington State standard for having your license revoked, I realized that my station was doing nothing to help me with these tickets. They were not paying for my tickets. They were not paying to help me make it back to the station in time without getting a speeding ticket. So I decided I would rather just not make my deadline and have a driver's license. This is ridiculous. So I stopped speeding. But this is kind of the same thing. Basically, I've had this warning for medical misinformation since 2020. The Dr. Hodkinson, that's who I think Roger Hodkinson, he's one of the first heretics that I ever interviewed. And he was discussing masks. I'm pretty sure what he said back in 2020 would be totally fine now because he was discussing masks. I don't trust YouTube, so I'm not going to say what he said, but you guys know, if you've been watching this long enough, you know what he would have said about masks. And back then I was very headstrong and thought YouTube's not going to tell me what to do. And then YouTube did tell me what to do because they were going to rip me entirely offline. And I realized that was not going to help the fight. So then I started working around the system. And now, I am where I am, which is they're just suffocating my channel. So it's a never-ending battle. But they have offered me this chance to have my strike removed from 2020, which you never get rid of. Every time I've gotten a strike after this initial warning, I have gone back to YouTube and fought it, okay? And I have been allowed back in for whatever reason. And then usually your strikes will roll over after a certain amount of time. So if you go, I can't remember what it is, like 3 months or 6 months without getting another strike, they will let you back into your channel. Well, there's always like 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever. They'll let you back in your channel, but they'll let you in and take the strike away after a certain amount of time. So that's what's happened up until this point. But your original warning, you never get rid of. You will always carry the warning with you, like a C-section scar. They will remind you that you had this terrible birth experience, and they'll never let you forget it. And now, for whatever reason, they're allowing us creators to take a quiz, this class, and have that initial warning removed from our channel. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll take the quiz. I'll take the quiz. So I've already taken it. I'm not going to tell you whether I passed or failed. All right, but I will tell you this. I know the rules really well. This is one thing everybody should learn. If you haven't learned this yet, it's something I learned as a history major. The people who are, whether you want to call them oppressed or the heretics, the heterodox thinkers, they always know the rules better than the orthodox thinkers. They always know the rules better than the people who are in power. Why? Because they have to learn how to survive within the system. So I posit that Allison, though I may break the rules, I know the rules. I know the rules really well. And so I'm just going to leave that out there. You can guess in the chat whether you think I passed or failed this test. But back to the quiz. I of course, my crime was medical misinformation. And this is the opening slide for the class. Just opening this booger 414. A good citizen follows the rules at all times. You are a good citizen, are you not? I don't know. I think I will impart this little gem of wisdom. I believe love is telling the truth. And so we're often criticized on YouTube, those of us who, I guess you would say, we complain about it. I don't consider it complaining. I consider it telling the truth, because I love that these platforms have the possibility to give us an amazing reach of information if done with the opportunity to do so, or they have the opportunity to become complete mechanisms of pure evil. So in great love, I am telling YouTube the truth. That's the way I look at it. In the same way that if I had a friend who asked me, to tell her the truth about whatever other thing, okay, you think I'm this or I'm that, like, I would tell you the truth. I would tell you the truth. You ask me your opinion, I'm going to tell you the truth. I think true love, that's what it is. You tell the truth. You don't worry about their reaction for you. So I think a good citizen tells the truth. When there's a problem, I feel like that's what I've tried to do on this channel to the best of my ability. At least you don't talk about the weather. I do talk about the weather. We talked about weather manipulation, remember? So far they don't care about that. All right. So yes, and there is a lawsuit on the table for being deplatformed in Florida. And I should get the attorneys on for that. That would be a great topic. All right, so let's go. W Daisy Girl Williams says, let's do this. Don't forget, before we take this quiz together, that one of the best ways to support my work is to join my editorial board. It's the first place that you're going to find out if I've gotten kicked off of YouTube, is AllisonMorrow.locals.com. I post pictures from family stuff. I have a weekly show that I do for supporters. You can get that on top of putting your questions in ahead of time for interviews. It's $5 a month, and it is really one of the best values. Consider giving me a Christmas present this year and signing up for a yearly membership. You get $5 off, so it'll be $55 for the year. Personally, I think it's a great value, like I said. But let's start this off. Okay, so the medical misinformation slide says that while there are different types of medical misinformation, the ones we'll focus on most in your training are prevention, treatment, and disease denial misinformation. YouTube doesn't allow content that poses a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading medical misinformation that contradicts local health authorities or the World Health Organization's guidance about specific health conditions and substances. This policy includes the following categories: prevention misinformation, treatment misinformation, and denial misinformation. We may allow content that includes medical misinformation if the content has educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic context. These exceptions aren't a pass to promote medical misinformation. This training includes descriptions of medical misinformation, which could be upsetting or triggering to some people. So just a warning there. Now, just a heads up, a few of these questions I cannot read on YouTube. You're watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to join everybody elsewhere. After a few of these questions, I'm going to give you a little bit of the taste here of what's going on, but I can't read YouTube's own quiz on YouTube because I'll get kicked off for reading their quiz. Okay. So I'm actually going to go straight to number 4, and then then everybody's going to have fun doing 1, 2, and 3 on Rumble, Rockfin, and Locals. And YouTube, I'm not doing this to evade censorship. I'm doing it because I like it better on the other platforms. This has nothing to do with censorship. Okay, let me go to number 4. A creator films his grandmother while she prepares her garlic and orange peel tea, which she has had every day since she was a child. The grandmother says that she doesn't know if the tea will prevent her from getting COVID-19, but it makes her feel strong and boosts her immune system. Is this a violation? YouTube asks me. Now, you can see the answer. So I probably should have done this so you couldn't see the answer, but how many of you thought that you would be allowed to say this? That the grandmother prepares garlic and orange peel tea? What do you think? What do you think? Would you have thought you could say this? Well, I knew that you could say this and that it was not a violation because the question here specifically, or at the very end, says she doesn't know if the tea will prevent her from getting COVID-19, but it makes her feel strong and boosts her immune system. So though this one is borderline, I thought, nah, this isn't a violation because you can say, I think this helps your immune system. What you can't say is that specifically, as they say down here, that's right. This example doesn't violate our policy. We allow content that promotes immune boosting tips as long as the content doesn't claim that these measures will prevent the contraction of or cure COVID-19. So that's how you get around it. Okay, here's another interesting one. In a video uploaded to YouTube, a doctor said that chemotherapy may not be the best treatment for all cancers. He encouraged cancer patients to discuss other treatment options with their oncologist. Is this a violation? And I said, no, it isn't. And I was right. Again, this example doesn't violate our policy. We allow content that discusses approved treatments as long as the content does not claim these treatments are never effective. I don't know why they say it that way. But anyway, so you are allowed to criticize some mainstream treatments, but you can't say they're never effective. Let me go back to 4. Okay. When you see at the bottom that it says that, gosh, it says there. Oh, no, I know. Let me go back. No, this was the original screen. Hang on. Okay. It says that it's approved treatments. You have to, spreading medical misinformation that contradicts local health authorities, the World Health Organization's guidance. And when they talk about how they allow it in content that includes medical misinformation, as long as there's a certain context, to me, that just leaves it open for YouTube to interpret however they want the context to be. But the problem is the AI does not understand that. So typically what I think is going on is that, because I've noticed there are certain creators who have been able to talk about stuff that I cannot get away with. And I think the reason is because they're bigger and they make a lot more money for YouTube. So I think that's the context. I don't think the context is artistic or what else do they say? Let me show you here. Hang on. Documentary, scientific, educational. I don't think it's anything like that. I mean, maybe it's open to their interpretation. I think they have certain channels flagged that are just allowed a pass and others that are not. I cannot get away with anything. I just had one removed. My interview with Ryan Christian a couple of weeks ago about VAERS and the investigation that the British Medical Journal did into how there's like 2 VAERS systems, one that's public facing that we know about that has, adverse events recorded post-vaccination, that it's very incomplete, and that the government has a more in-depth database so that we can't see, so we don't really know what's going on. And just talking about that, the video was flagged and removed. If you were just watching on YouTube and you're not on Locals, or really I think on Locals the only place people knew, you probably didn't know I was locked out of my channel for that amount of time. I had to go on Twitter as normal, normally done, and then say it's ridiculous that we can't even talk about VAERS existing. And then they let my video back in and I got back in. This is just a couple weeks ago. And then I got my strike taken off because, I got another strike. But I still have this warning that, again, back to why I'm taking this quiz. So I don't think there were a few big channels that did that stuff. I've talked about that stuff. Pretty sure Russell Brand, even though they, screwed around with him for other reasons. But there are channels like Dr. John Campbell. I mean, that guy can get away with stuff there's no way I could talk about. No way. So I don't know what their contextualization is, but that's it for now. Okay. So, all right, let me go back in a second. We're going to talk about the fun quiz questions. All right. So grab a bottle of your AllisonWinePromo.com if you have a second, and get ready for this one, because you're going to there's even one on DIY abortion. Okay. So yeah, that's coming up, and YouTube is not screwing around. All right. Don't forget, the holidays are coming up, and what better to bring over to whatever party you don't want to attend than your AllisonWinePromo.com. These are high altitude, extremist altitude Malbecs. I love Malbecs. I'm a big Malbec drinker. It's the poor man's Pinot Noir, but these all come from amazing vineyards in Argentina. One from the highest vineyard, 3rd highest vineyard in the world, and one vineyard from over 200 years old. It's the oldest vineyard in Argentina. They're from between 6,000 and 9,000 feet, fewer pesticides. The weather is very harsh, so the grapes work very hard for you, just like we do here at the Allison Morrow Show. And think about the gift you're giving. You're giving a glass of wine or a bottle of wine if you give wine for the holidays, or think about considering it. If you have somebody who likes wine, and it comes with a cause. It's a great way to support my work. It's a great conversation piece. And you've been hearing me talk about Allison Wine promo forever, so it's time to try it out. Okay. There's got to be a holiday you celebrate. Festivus, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever it is, find one. Create one if you don't have one. Atheists of us, get an AllisonWinePromo.com and support my work. Get 50% off the wine and 50% off shipping. All right. Also, we got some TwinEngineCoffee.com/Allison for your hangover the next day, which may not be wine induced, may just be from talking to that person you never wanted to see again, but happened to be invited to the party. You thought you'd unfriended them on Facebook. You never have to talk to them again, but there they are. Heads throbbing the next day. You got to get some coffee. TwinEngineCoffee.com/Allison. One of the cool things about the coffee, other than the fact it's organic, high altitude roast, very pro free speech company, small family owned company, is that they do gifts, coffee tasting sets that you can get, which are pretty cool. I like getting these. You get a bunch of the little kits, these little sample packets. You can get as many as you want and send them to your friends, stocking stuffers, whatever else. And it's another conversation piece and present with the cause. Finally, it's winter. Maybe you're not getting enough vitamin D, which is a great reason to go over to greenpasture.org. You can use the promo code Allison10 or check out the affiliate links in the comments and the description for my affiliate links. You can just click that link or just go to greenpasture.org and use Allison10 as your promo code. I take the fermented cod liver oil, butter oil blend every day. I used to get cavities every time I went to the dentist. They tell me I had cavities. I had cavities all the time. And I like sugar. So, whatever, but I didn't change the sugar until very recently. And I still stopped getting cavities. And there was one time I didn't go to the dentist for 3 years. And I went in and I thought they were going to have to rip all my teeth out. And I didn't have a single cavity. And they told me my gums looked amazing. And I credit this product. They have a bunch of different ones, but I take the cinnamon flavored cod liver butter oil blend. High vitamin D, very good for you. It's fermented too, so that adds a whole level of nutrition to it. And also consider sauerkraut every day. Okay, I'll just add that too. Consider sauerkraut. They don't sell it, but you can get it other places. Make sure it's naturally fermented with just salt, not vinegar. Okay, so let me go back to one other fun question. Okay, let's go back over to our quiz, wrap this up. All right. I'm not going to do that one. I'm not going to do that one. I'm not going to do that one. We already did that one. I'm not doing that one. I'm not doing that one. Okay, never mind. And then I can't do the rest on YouTube. I'm sorry. But I just buried the lead on this one. Now I completed the training and I won. I won the prize, which is February 11th, 2024. I get to have my warning removed. But if I violate the medical misinformation policy again before this warning expires, I'll get another strike. So if I violate a different policy, I do get the opportunity to take another training. But this is the last training I'll ever be able to take on medical misinformation. So this is it. All right, everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to read the other questions to the other platforms. Thanks for watching. Hope you had a